announcement pop up that you can agree to being recorded. Great. Okay, so we're going to get started. I'm going to share my screen and my PowerPoint presentation with you. Just a second. Here we go. Okay. Everybody can see my presentation. You can give me a thumbs up. That would be just fine. We'll be good to go from there. Okay. So we are first, hi, I'm Victoria. I am the executive director of the Give campaign, but I'm also the only staff member of the Give campaign. So when you are reaching out to give, you're sending an email to give at givepikespeak.org. If you are calling the office, all of those things, I am the person that you're going to get. So um, uh, it's always just going to be me. I do have a board that helps me run the campaign, and they participate, and you'll get to meet them at different opportunities during the campaign. But behind the scenes, running all the things, all the emails, all that kind of stuff, the newsletters, that's me. So if you ever have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to do a quick meeting, either over Zoom or in person. I find that so much of I don't want to waste your time, really, is the biggest thing. You guys are doing important work for our community, and I try to run the campaign as efficiently as possible for you. And sometimes it's just easier for us to just go meet for coffee and have a quick chat or jump on a call instead of you trying to wait for something to happen later on. So that's why we like to do this workshop, which is just to tell you about the applications. Applications aren't even open till April 1st, but this is a way for you to get all the information early, find out if you have any questions about anything, and then we can, sorry, people are still joining in, that we can still have a chance to go over all the information before you even get to that point, just to make sure that it's a good fit for you, that you're spending your time the way that you need to spend your time for your organization. Okay, so like I said, I'm Victoria. I am the executive director here. If you are brand new to the Give campaign, you don't know much about it, or maybe you're confused about it, I like to kind of go over the history of the campaign just a little bit so that you can understand who we are, where we came from in the community. So in 2009, Indie Give was started by the Colorado Publishing Group. You may have been familiar with the independent newspaper, the Colorado Springs Business Journal, the Pikes Peak Bulletin, although they're in a different company now. But again, small independent newspapers that existed in the Pikes Peak region. And the campaign just started as a philanthropic effort of their organization. So at the year end, they used the paper to highlight nonprofits and a way for them to get going. They were under a fiscal partnership, a sponsorship with the Pikes Peak Community Foundation at that time. But as the campaign grew and it got more successful and it got a little more unwieldy, the campaign was formalized Indie Give as a 501c3 nonprofit with a community board. So that happened in 2016. Was still heavily subsidized by the Colorado Publishing Group, not only with sponsorship, but also with in-kind media opportunities. Newspapers still did a lot of work putting all that information out there. I'm just going to check in on the waiting room. Okay, I think we're good. So that was 2016. So during that time, the campaign continued to grow. It had two staff members, continued to work with the independent staff, and then also had this community board that helped run it. In 2022, as most of you may be aware, small newspapers struggle financially all across the country, and the Colorado Publishing Group was part of that as well. So as their finances got tighter, their relationship with Give Pikes Peak or Indie Give got more complicated, and in 2022, they broke that formal agreement with them. And so the Indie Give campaign was rebranded as Give Pikes Peak. We still call it the Give campaign. We're still able to use the Give logo. So that part has stayed the same since 2009. But we are no longer associated with any kind of formal business at this point. The Independent, as many of you probably know, eventually closed down. They sold it a couple times, but it's now gone from our community. So we do not have that media outlet anymore in the community at all. But Give Pikes Peak has stood the test of time. We continue to move into a new space within our community as what the Give campaign does for nonprofits and for our community. So as of today, we are a completely independent nonprofit. We have raised $20.4 million for local nonprofits since 2009. We continue to add to that amount every year. Unfortunately, the Give name is very popular within our state and around the country, really, for giving campaigns. And so we do get confused often for Colorado Gives Day or the Colorado Gives Foundation, and we are not that. We are completely separate from that. We love Colorado Gives Day. We love what they do. They are a great free resource for nonprofits, especially small nonprofits. And if you are a part of the Give campaign, we highly recommend that you participate in both. But they do different things for our nonprofits. When I came on board, I've only been at Give for about 2.5 years now. And when I came on board, we weren't sure, as Colorado Gives Day was kind of ramping up their presence in the state, if we were kind of redundant, if we didn't need to keep doing what we were doing in the same way because they had built that space. But what we've learned pretty clearly from the nonprofits in the last couple of years is that Colorado Gives Foundation is great. Their platform is great, but it is from Denver, and it is run out of the Denver Foundation. A lot of the grants, opportunities, things like that are only for Jeffco. They don't work for Colorado Springs nonprofits. If you've got a name that's similar to another organization somewhere else in the state, sometimes there's a lot of donor confusion around that. And it's hard to get new donors through Colorado Gives Day website because that is so big. So we have similar names, but we do similar things, but it's a very different benefit to your organization to participate in the Give campaign with Give Pikes Peak versus Colorado Gives Day and the Gives Day Foundation. Okay, so let's talk about who's eligible to participate in the Give campaign. This is there's some eligibility requirements. Some are mandatory, some are just suggested. So these are kind of the mandatory ones. You have to be a Colorado 501c3. You have to be in good standing with the state of Colorado. Your paperwork has to be up to date, or you have to have a fiscal sponsor who is up to date and in good standing with the state of Colorado. We will be asking for that paperwork as part of your application. You have to be located in the Pikes Peak region. Now, it is okay if you are a national or regional organization, as long as you have a local service area, a local office here in Teller County or El Paso County. Because what happens is we are giving you a general operating grant from the Give campaign from the total money that you raise, but it has to be used in the budget area here. And then we will ask for proof of that in your next year's following up into the campaign. So if you are a part of a national chapter of an organization, things like that, that's totally fine as long as you have a separate budget that you can show us in your paperwork. Another thing is that we want to have a demonstrated local impact. When we put you on the Give campaign website, what we are saying essentially is here is the Give stamp of approval. These are nonprofits that we've talked to, we've vetted, we've looked at their finances, we've looked at their structure. We know they're doing good things here in our community, so donors trust us with that. So we want to make sure that you have a demonstrated local impact. This often means that you can't be within your first year of a nonprofit. We don't do that for a couple of reasons, but this is one of them. If you're brand new, just starting out, you can't give us your impact statistics yet. So we want you to be a little bit more established before we invite you to be a part of the campaign. And financial longevity kind of goes into that same thing. We cannot be your only source of income for the campaign, and it can't be your first year of fundraising because the campaign does a lot of different things for you, but it also can be a lot of work. And we want to make sure that the campaign is a tool for you, is a benefit for you, and is not a burden for you. And in that first year, you've got a lot going on. And we don't want to be draining your time and attention from things that matter more. And then lastly, our diversity and non-discrimination policy. There is language for the Give Pikes Peak board approved policy. It has to be in alignment with that. This has made a change in the last year for us, which is why it's not on the website right now. It will be up by the time the application goes live. But basically, it's a standard non-discrimination policy. The change for this year is that we have allowed organizations to have the legal religious protection and hiring practices but not in service areas. So no discrimination on any level is allowed in your service area, but we do have the religious exemption honored for your hiring practices. Those applications that will go live on April 1st are reviewed by a committee. So I am a staff of one, but we do have a community-wide people that look at the application. So it's my board members, it's me, but there's also community volunteers who are kind of service area experts that we bring in to look at your application. So make sure that you're taking the time, even if we have a one-on-one meeting or we've talked about your organization, make sure you're taking the time to fill out the full, complete application, tell your story compelling, because it's going to go to people who've never heard of you before, and they're going to get to be introduced to you through that paperwork. So is the Give campaign right for you? I alluded to this a little bit, but here's some questions to ask yourself before you apply. I participated in the campaign for Lutheran Family Services for many years. I worked where you did. I was on the other side of the application for many years. And I can tell you that the campaign is a little different because of that. When I came on board, there were some things that as a nonprofit I had experienced that I thought, this is a lot of extra work. This is taking a lot of time. Is it really necessary? And so we've changed some of that. So this capacity question we're asking at the beginning is a very specific question about how much capacity, how much can you give to the campaign, but understanding that we have decreased the amount of requirements that you have to do for the campaign. And this 5 to 10 hours a month really lines into how to get the most benefit from the campaign. It's not the requirement stuff. The required things are 2 meetings during the entire 6 months and some things we'll talk about in a minute. But there's only 2 meetings that you have to go to, and they're both 1 hour each. So that's really 1 hour in June, 1 hour in October. But in order to take full benefits of the campaign, all the things that are offered available to you, it is closer to 5 to 10 hours a month. And that can be spread out on anybody on your staff. It doesn't have to just be one person, but we do want you to know that it does take some time. If you are passive in your participation in the campaign, it does not work as well for you. So number one, do you have the capacity? That's that 5 to 10 hours a month. It's June through December, really. We do workshops June through October, and then the campaign runs November and December. We do ask that you have 2 people that are your contacts. This is so that if somebody you have a staff change, if I just need to be able to get in contact with somebody fairly quickly for your organization. Most of the time, this is around money questions or fixing things with your matching grants, making sure that the profile looks the way you want to look. I need 2 people that can talk to me pretty regularly. And then the workshops we'll talk about again in a minute. The second question you should ask yourself is, can you secure a matching grant? Matching grants are a required part of the campaign. In your participation agreement, you agree to secure one $500 matching grant at least. That comes from an established donor. Your board can do a cumulative match together, a business partner, things like that. I'll show you the website in a minute so you can see what those look like. But matching grants are a backbone of the Give campaign. We know that if you participate by getting a matching grant, and the more matching grants you can kind of bring in early on, it does do a great service to your organization about how much money you can raise throughout the campaign. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but do you have that already? Do you have a donor that can do $500? Do you have a board that can do $500 together? Do you have the ability to ask for that to begin with? Number 3, can you implement donor care best practices? So we're talking about donor stewardship here. Starting November 1st, you get an email every morning with every donor that's participated in your campaign. So do you have the capacity? Do you have a system in place to do donor stewardship? Number 4 is, can you participate in the networking training? Like I said earlier, this stuff is optional for you, but it is what makes the Give campaign so valuable to your organization. So making sure you've got some time and interest in the workshops that we do there. We bring in subject matter experts from around the community. We do collaboration events where you get to work with other nonprofits in the community, meet and greets, networking. All of that happens in the summer and the fall. And it's, like I said, one of the best benefits of being in the campaign. So let's talk about matching grants a little bit more. So we do say you have to secure at least one $500 match or more from your donor pool. We do not do the match. So if you bring in $20,000 in matching grants, I can't guarantee you that I don't have a fund to pull from to match that for you. But we do create the platform for you to do that so that you can encourage donors to give. And we have great success throughout the campaign. It's on your profile page every day that the campaign is live, so that donors can go in and see what matches you have, and encourages them to give. It is the psychology of matching grants. We all know what they are. We all understand that the deadline for a matching grant is not real. They actually function as a challenge gift. We don't give back the matching grants to the donors if it's not fully funded. But the psychology of matching grants still works in philanthropy. And so we take it very seriously at the Give campaign. And it provides more. The more that you bring into that total, the higher you tend to raise in the organization. So you'll see that pretty clearly on the current Give campaign website, in the leaderboard, how people went from their matching grants to how much they raised total in the campaign. This is an opportunity for you to do donor recognition, to highlight business opportunities, because it is displayed on your landing page for the campaign. So it's great opportunities to do that. Memorial gifts, all that kind of stuff, we take very seriously. We're willing to make whatever work on your landing page that you need to work on to do that recognition for your donors. Matching grants happen earlier in the campaign. So the portal for matching grant opens in August and is open August and September. We have set it up so that donors can pay by credit card, ACH, or they can mail in a check. But the matching grants have to be done and received by October so that you have a chance to proof your website before it goes live in November. So all of that's taken care of in August and September, which again is that capacity question. Do you have time to do some of those donor talks, and outreach in August and September? I will say it's hardest to do the first year. And then after that, it's kind of accumulated. It's like a snowball effect, because you'll have donors who participate that first year. They see how great it is, how much it inspires other people to give. They're more willing to come back the next year at higher levels, things like that. When I participated, I came in for an organization that didn't have a great visibility here in our community. And we started, I think we raised maybe $2,000 or $3,000 our first year, but we brought in matching grants from people who had participated that prior year. And so then we raised $8,000, and then we raised $12,000. So we got to able to bring up the amount that we were doing by building on participation in this project every year. Okay, let's talk about the campaign timeline. We are in the zero phase right now, so before number one, which is that applications open April 1st. You'll have the entire month of April and another week through May to get your applications in. You can turn them in as fast as you want. They will be in the form will be embedded on our website at the givepikespeak.org/application. So where you signed up for this workshop, that will go away, and it will just be the application will be open right there. You will have to submit several financial documents. So we always recommend that you go through the application, see what you need to get, compile it all together, and then submit all at once. You can save your application and come back to it at another time, but it's always good to kind of know what financial documents that we're looking for. So applications are due by May 8th. After that time period, this review committee that I talked about earlier will meet together. We'll go through every application is seen by at least 3 different people and staff. So I look at them as well. We are looking at your materials. We're looking at your finances. We're looking at your social media. We're going to go Google you. We're going to see how easy it is to find out about your organization, what your social media presence is like, to see kind of what your digital footprint is like. So we do that process during the month of May. By the end of May, usually they've met and solidified all of their recommendations, and we send out acceptance notifications by the end of the month. I don't have a solid date on that yet, but it's usually by the end of May, you'll be notified of your acceptance to the campaign. There is a time period there in May where if we have follow-up questions, I will reach out to ask for some clarification if we need to push back on something, or just make sure that we are okay. Sorry, I think somebody came in. Okay. Oops, sorry. I got ahead of myself. Okay. Acceptance are in May. That's when your invoices go in. We will do a orientation meeting in June. This is the mandatory meeting at the beginning of the campaign. And this is just so that we all start on the same page with the campaign. I roll out any special things that are happening this year, any special donor prizes we've secured. We all just come together. It's a fun meeting because it's one of the few times we're all in the room together. So there's a lot of nonprofits in the community, a lot of familiar faces, new people to meet. It's really exciting, but that's just 1 hour in June, usually around the lunch hour at one of the Pikes Peak Library District conference rooms. So that happens in June. That's mandatory meeting number one. Then June through October is when we do the workshops, the networking, the collaboration events. That all happens during that time. It's usually once or twice a month. Those are meetings that are held in different public locations around the city, often at the library, UCCS downtown, El Pomar, all places that have free nonprofit space available to us. So we do all that. They're once or twice a month, usually either over the lunch hour or the last hour of the workday. We try not to do in the evenings, but do know that some of you have multiple jobs and you're not just running a nonprofit. So some of our collaboration events and networking events are after hours, but we try to span different times of day, different locations in the city so that everywhere is available to you. Then in August and September, like I mentioned, the matching grant portal is open. October, our matching grants are paid and they're verified. We have our second mandatory meeting at that point, and it is a Zoom meeting, and it is the website walkthrough. We will look at the campaign website, see how it's functioning this year, talk about anything so that you have the ability to talk to donors through what it looks like on the website. And then November 1st, we are live in the campaign, and it runs through January 3rd. So that's kind of the breakdown of how the campaign runs from April until January. Okay. So some of the benefits of participating in the campaign, we have grant partners that work with us. So when you are accepted to the gift campaign, you are automatically eligible for these additional prizes. You do not have to submit extra grant paperwork. You don't have to fill out any other documents. Your acceptance into the campaign is, like I said, that stamp of approval, and it goes from there. El Pomar will give out 10 $1,500 grants to organizations in the campaign. The Bloom Foundation does somewhere between 9 and 10 $1,000 grants as well for the campaign. The Tiemens Foundation does at least $2,000, although word on the street is it's going to be a little higher this year. And that is a match event that's available for the nonprofits in the arts. That's the Tiemens Art Challenge is what happens with them. That is a day of the campaign where any donation that comes in for an arts organization is doubled up to $100 until the match is completely met. So if you are an arts nonprofit, you'll be eligible for that. We'll give you some more information. Grant funds, all of that stuff's added to your check with no additional processing fees, but it is put on your matching grant portal and on the website so that people can see that you got that. We also have some fun competitions within the campaign. This is the Young Donor Challenge. Inviting and engaging young donors are the major cornerstone of the Give campaign. So in order to do that and to encourage you to reach out to them, we do have this Young Donor Challenge. It is the highest number of donors under the age of 35. Ages 5 to 35 is kind of the time range that we're looking at there. This prize is something that I solicit every year. So sometimes it's $1,000, sometimes it's $3,000. So the average is about $2,000. That's additional money that's just added to your check at the end of the campaign. We also have a social media challenge. This is a sponsored prize as well. So your best digital entertainment campaign. So it's like who's got the best social media strategy for the campaign and is consistently posting. That's an extra $1,000 that's added. And then we also have the generosity across generations, which is the biggest age span of donors. We know that not everybody's nonprofit appeals to 5 and 14-year-olds and 20-year-olds. And so we really like to highlight who's got the youngest donor and who's got the oldest donor. This last year, we had 3 nonprofits with an 88 plus year age span, which is amazing. So it's super fun to see. Like I said, the donors under the age of 35 is a big push for us at Give. Last year, we rolled out the Family Give Guide, which you can see on the website to see how we're working to engage younger donors in the campaign and how to give families the tools to talk about giving and philanthropy with their kids. Another benefit of the campaign are media opportunities. These are year-round opportunities. They don't just happen in November and December. But once you are admitted in June, the cycle goes from June to May. So I have organizations that participated in the 2025 campaign who are still getting their media opportunities this month, the next month, and in May. So they go year round. Some of them are specific to the campaign season, but most of them are a little bit broader than that. We do have a sponsored spot on Loving Living Local, which is on Fox 21. It's a weekly Wednesday morning spot. So every Wednesday morning, if you tune in to their website or to their program, you can see they give a 5 minute slot to a nonprofit to talk about what they're doing. They also help us do a public service announcement when the campaign goes. So you have an opportunity to join in on creating that. So you get to go be filmed for a commercial that runs November and December. We have a partnership with KRCC. They do 5 interviews for nonprofits, usually every year. They select who gets to go in, but you get to be put on the list when you're part of the campaign. Similarly, with the Cumulus Media and all of their radio shows, so the entire family of Cumulus radio shows, they run commercials. Sometimes they can give us interviews, kind of just depends on their schedule, but you get to be a part of that as well. And then we have several podcasts that reach out to the campaign and pick. Sometimes it's service areas, like Hiking Bob does the outdoors nonprofits. Some of the other ones are more involved with civic engagement, things like that. So there's different podcasts that we have relationships with here in the city that will talk to me and we'll get you connected with them. But in all of these media opportunities, you don't have to talk about the Give campaign. This is your media time to share what matters most, what message you're trying to get out into the community. Yes, if it's November and December, you want to say, hey, you can donate to us during the Give campaign, but you also can talk about upcoming fundraising events that you have, ways people can volunteer, things that you're looking for, in-kind donations, tell your story. You can also kind of be strategic about when you use your TV spot. You only get to do it once a year, and it's not a guaranteed TV spot because we often have 70 plus nonprofits and only 52 weeks a year. But most of the time, if you want to get in, we can get you in to do it. So think about my annual gala is in April. So I'm not going to use my one TV spot in September. I'm going to wait and sign up during the first quarter so that I get to be on TV the week of my gala. So you can kind of use that media spot however you want to. By participating in the campaign, you have access to all of this. Another benefit is because we have lost the media partners and the media landscape of Colorado Springs and the Pikes Peak region has changed so much over the last several years. We are depending less on free media and more on paid marketing. We started the strategy last year and in 2024, and we're continuing to hone it and strategize what's the best way to get people in our community aware of the campaign. So I often think when we talk about participation fees, what it is we are all kind of pooling our marketing budget together. As 70 or 80 nonprofits, we are trying to elevate the same message throughout the entire campaign and reaching a bigger audience. We do this through digital advertising, so not just like social media ads. We have ads that go to people's TVs, streaming ads, YouTube ads. Like we're hitting lots of different platforms. We have very specifically targeted ads that go through our digital advertisers. We do Facebook, Instagram ads. We do have billboards. We have transit ads, so things that are on the back of the buses. And like I said, we're hyper targeted to the Pikes Peak region. We're not reaching donors in Denver. We are specifically reaching donors that are right here. I kind of think about it as my job is to get people to the website. I want everyone to know November 1st through January 3rd that the Give campaign is live, it's open, it makes a difference here. And your job as a participating nonprofit is to let people know that you are there, that they can find you on that website. This last year, our results is 440,000 digital ads that were served over the course of 2 months. We had 900 plus first-time donors who used the Give campaign for the first time this last year. That's incredible. It's over half of our donors that came through were brand new last year. So this marketing strategy is reaching new people. It's getting new donors involved. I can't guarantee a lot for the campaign as far as how much money you're going to raise or how much we're going to raise overall cumulatively. I can't guarantee what that's going to look like. But one of the statistics that's the most solid for us when we survey the nonprofits at the end is that everybody gets new donors. Like this is the most reliable way that people reach a new audience every year. And this is part of the strategy that we use to make that happen. Is this very advanced marketing campaign. All right. If you're not familiar with the campaign at all, this is something that doesn't necessarily affect the nonprofits, but it does affect your donors. And this is part of why people love the Give campaign, is because we have these donor reward perks that are part of the campaign. There are 7 different reward tiers. So if you do a donation between $25 and $100, you get this level. If you're something 100 to 250, you get these perks. So donors get the perks added to their tax receipt. So after they make their donation of $100 to your organization, they get the tax receipt from us, and these perks are on there. So they're coupons, they're reward codes. There are lots of different things that happen. We brought in some bigger community stakeholders last year that are continuing with us this next year, which is we brought in the Switchbacks who are giving a discount code for tickets. We brought the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Museum, bringing in membership discounts. We have a longstanding partnership with Bristol Brewing, Bread and Butter Neighborhood Market. There's a ton of them. The last year's perks are still on the website, so you can kind of see. But donors care a lot about these perks. I get emails every year of people asking what the rewards are going to be. Have we thought about reaching out to this company? Things where they want to see the perks. There's a good subset of donors who really enjoy getting the perks. And it's a great way for us to partner with local businesses and elevate their philanthropic giving as well throughout the community. So it works in both ways to inspire donors, but also to support our local businesses. It really helps strengthen that connection for us there. We, with our Family Give Guide this last year, brought in a kids-specific perk as well with the Penny Arcade. So we're working really hard to incentivize donors in any way that we can. Like I said, so we've got workshops that are going on from June through October in the campaign. We cover things like how to best use the campaign. So I'm going to do tips and tricks. We're going to bring in a copywriting expert to help you write your profile page. We're going to bring in a social media expert to talk to you about how to build a good social media strategy and how to be leveraging social media. It changes every year. It's always our best, most favorite workshop, that social media one. We also have some fun that are very specific to us. Like we're bringing in the Colorado College internship program this year. So the officers who run that, how to prepare for an intern, how to prepare for the budgeting for an intern, all of that kind of stuff. They're going to come in and talk to us and then connect you with the resources for their internship program. We also have the meet and greets and collaboration events. So this is when we're specifically just getting nonprofits together. We're doing a foundation funders Q&A. So these are people from El Pomar and Bloom and the Edmondson Foundation. We're bringing all these organizations together so you can hear directly from the people who are looking at your grant application every year, what they're seeing, what's not working, what turns them off right away, what are the things that they really want to look for this year. And the hint is it's collaboration, working with other nonprofits. Then we're also bringing in things like some more technical. So the El Paso County Enterprise Zone designation, we're going to bring in a representative from the county to talk about what an enterprise zone is here. Are you eligible, and how to fill out the paperwork so that your donors can get that tax incentive. Like I said, only 2 of them are mandatory, the orientation and the website walkthrough. So that's June and October. And the rest of them are optional. Because there's so many nonprofits, we can't pick a specific day or time that works for everybody. So when it's possible, I do record them and upload them to a private YouTube list that only people in the campaign have access to. So it's still proprietary information that you have available to do that. I know that sometimes, especially smaller organizations, you just have one staff member. So you can invite anybody on your staff. You can invite people on your board, or if you've got a really engaged volunteer who helps you with these things, they're invited to come to these the workshops. It's not just one person only. So that burden can be shared, that time commit can be shared within your staff or your organization. The other thing is your campaign page. Like I said, we bring in a copywriting expert to help you write what that is. But you get to control your landing page. It's the givepikespeak.org/website whatever your organization is. You have a specific URL that goes straight to your fundraising, and you get to control your what and your why. You get to write that section. You get to give us your goals for the next year, important facts or a quote or a testimonial. This is the sidebar where your matching grant donors are displayed. It gives specific donation tracking towards your goal, how much you've raised, how many donors you have, how much of your matching grant is still there. That website, you can go on our website right now. I think it's under past campaigns. You can kind of see what it used to look like. But the campaign.givepikespeak.org is the landing page right now. In November and December, all of our websites redirect to that one page. But you can see kind of what that looks like year round. Okay, so I know it's a lot of information, but just going back again, applications open April 1st. They're due by May 8th. Read the application before you start. You're going to have to upload your 990, your P&L, your budget, your discrimination policy. There's notes on the application, but please, if you can, try to save your name, save your files with your organization name and the year, and then that helps all of us. At the end of May, we will send out acceptance notifications. During May, I may follow up with any questions we have. In June, we do have that orientation meeting. And then June through October, campaign workshops are available to you. And then November 1st is when the campaign goes live and runs through January 3rd. We handle all of the money through that time period. So anytime a donor comes in, we're handling their tax receipts and we're just giving you the donor information. You get all of the information that the donor gives us. You get their name, phone number, email, all of that. We consider them your donors. We're not doing a stewardship plan for them. It's your job to do that. So those reports start on November 2nd. We handle all the tax receipt. Okay, let's talk about fees and financial details. This is the thing I wish I could have not a page for it all, but unfortunately, this is part of how the campaign exists. It's mostly how the campaign exists, is that we all as nonprofits pool together this money to launch the campaign. For new nonprofits, it's $850. So if this is your first year, that's all that it costs. If you're a returning nonprofit, it's $1,250. But we do guarantee that you're going to raise at least $1,500 or we make up the difference. You will never lose money on the campaign if you're actively participating. There is a participation agreement. It says that you have to attend the mandatory meetings. You have to have one $500 matching grant, and you have to tell your donors that you're participating. So whatever donor channels you have, social media, newsletter, year-end giving letter, all that kind of stuff, people just need to know that you're doing it. If you do that baseline, you will easily make over $1,500. So we don't ever want you to lose money. But if you, for some reason, don't, we do provide a grant to cover up that amount so that you will at least get $1,500 through the campaign. People use the campaign for different things. They are using it for, some of them, it's their major fundraiser of the year. If you do go look at the website and look at organizations at the top of the list, Happy Cats Haven or New Horizons Band, especially for New Horizons Band, this is their major fundraiser of the year. They are a small volunteer-based nonprofit of musicians, and they don't want to handle any of tax receiving. And so they say, here, this is great. We pay you this fee. You handle all of the tax information for us. You take care of our donors. You do all this kind of stuff. You give us a check at the end of it. We're very happy to go. And that's how we do it. Other organizations are using the campaign just for marketing. They're just trying to get their story out there. They're not necessarily trying to raise a specific amount of money, and they're looking for new donors. And so one of the organizations we had this year had a meeting with, only raised about $2,000 in the campaign, but it was 21 donors that they didn't know. So 21 brand new donors that they now get to add into their pipeline of donors. And they were thrilled. That's exactly what they were looking for. So it worked really well for them in that way. The campaign is not one size fits all for nonprofits. You all have wildly different missions and donor bases and capacity and social media presence and communication levels. All that kind of stuff varies widely throughout the campaign. So we want the campaign to work for you however you want it to work. But this fee is how the campaign runs. We are a very small organization. We are not here to make a ton of money. We have the most streamlined budget I could possibly create at this point. One staff person. We're not charging this fee because we want your money in any way. We're doing this so that we have this combined marketing budget together for everybody. So we use this money to elevate the campaign and run the campaign on your behalf. And it usually works. Like it usually, last year's $881,000 that was raised for 74 nonprofits. So it works really well in engaging new donors, raising new money. And this is just kind of the cost of doing business for us at this point. That being said, my goal is always to get rid of this. I have been making major steps and goals towards that in the last 2 years since I've been here. I know as a development person, this is a conversation we had every year. Is it worth having to pay this fee? And in the end, we decided it was. It was a small price to pay for the benefits that we got and the new donors that we got, which is really the biggest draw that we have. We do have a processing fee, like everybody has a processing fee who handles any money. It's only 3.5, which is lower than Colorado Gives Day. And lower than some of the other giving platforms. This covers your ACH and credit card processing. It covers basically my bookkeeper. That's all that it really pays for. We don't make money off of the processing fee. We do ask donors to cover it for you on the website. And last year, our effective service rate was just 1.3%. So most donors are covering that for you in the campaign. And like I said, it's lower than a lot of comparable campaigns. So when you are accepted, you will be sent an invoice for the fee, depending on which year your organization is in. Okay, I'm going to wrap all this up. There's a couple things I think I forgot to mention. I saw a note. Oh, yeah. So my goal always is to take as little of your time as possible. I want the campaign to be as efficient for you as you can. And when we have a more established relationship with you, so if your organization has participated in 5 of the last 7 years, so I know it doesn't work every year, but 5 of the last 7 years, you're eligible for a 3-year application acceptance. So organizations that applied 2 years ago who've been with us for a long time were given a 3-year acceptance, and they get to skip the application season. They don't have to go through that process. They know that they're in. They get to budget for it. They get to put it as part of a standard part of their fundraising strategy for that year. Because after a couple of years of working with your organization, we know you very well. We know what you're capable of. We know what you're doing in our community. And I don't want to take up your time making you fill out an application. So once you've been a part of the campaign, it just tends to snowball. Everything gets a little bit easier year after year, but this first year is a lot of learning and it's a lot of new information, but trying to figure out the strategy that works for your organization. So I'm for real about taking me up on, do you have questions? Do you want to meet for coffee? Do you want to just send me an email? Set up a separate Zoom so that we can talk about it, because I don't want to waste your time, because I know what you're doing is so valuable in our community. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to end the recording, and then I'm going to stay online if anybody wants to ask any specific questions, or if you just want to shoot me an email and say, hey, I want to talk in person and not over a big campaign. So that's what I'm going to do.